Hello and welcome to another video from the Fantasy Legion. We've been requested to do a video on the very tricky Tampa Bay backfield. There's obviously
Yeah.
a lot of changes in that offense. They drafted Keyshawn Vaughn. They already had Rojo. How do you see this one playing out then? Who's the guy you want to own this year?
Well, it gets very complicated because I think you have to start with the changes, and the biggest change of all, before we talk about the backfield, could be the most important, which is Tom Brady going there.
Yeah.
And I've really considered this a lot. So, I mean, again, this is not a huge surprise to anybody, and it won't be, it's not groundbreaking at all. This is no great, pick. But I do think Tom Brady has a very solid year there. So, and as he's going quite late in drafts, he just strikes me as sensible. It's a sensible pick. That then means, okay, so we can see.
Shall I tell you their ADPs before
yeah, please. Yeah.
So, because this obviously factors in on which one you want to own as well. Which one's valid.
Yeah.
Rojo's going at 91.
Yeah.
And Keyshawn Vaughn's going at 96.
Yeah.
There's not a lot in it. So, obviously people aren't.
So for me,
sure.
You see, the problem 96 is cheap. So the first thing to get out of the way is, if that was to hold true at 96 in your drafts, that's very late. I mean, no matter what size league you've got, that's late. We know from our experiences in some of the leagues we do that won't be the case. But if you've got a league and that is the issue, he's falling there, I'm going to take the veteran over the rookie here, and stick with Rojo for this, because he is the proven commodity. They invested a lot in him. And I don't think Vaughn is cut out for the 3-down work that people keep telling me about.
A lot of people are sold on him being the 3-down back, though.
Now, I'm sure they think so, but you see, there's a lot of issues here. The first one is that if you're a 3-down back, you're not actually a straight out pass blocker. Let's just put that in there, right? What I want my running back to be able to do, actually, if you're a 3-down back, is I'm looking for you to get out into space. And
because he's a smaller back, isn't he? So he's not built to block.
That's the critical thing, because when you're talking about, say a second and long is a good example for the running back. Okay, imagine we put Vaughn in there. That's the moment, maybe, depending on what I'm looking for him to do, he may have to pass protect for me because of the breakdown of, other areas on the field. But I don't think Rojo is as bad as people are making out. I think he's actually, I'm not a huge fan. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this backfield's fun at all. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's my honest
the kind of price is factored into that. One of them, or maybe both of them, are going to have a mix. And they're down in the 90s. It's not.
Yeah, if I've already got 4 good running backs and a few good wide receivers, and Rojo's still sitting on the board of Vaughn, I'm going to take Rojo because it's the known commodity. And I'm going to roll the dice and see what happens. I don't trust Vaughn. I think he's too small. I don't think.
What do you see the split being of opportunities or touches? The sort of percentage.
You'd have to give the veteran at least 2/3 of the touches. I think is fair, and that isn't a lot. This is not a run-heavy team. I mean, they're not built for it for starters. Their offense isn't built that way, and I don't think that's what Tom Brady's going to want from them either. I think this is guns away stuff. I really believe this is going to be a team that's going to try and just spread the offense out, giving Brady protection by spreading the offense, and let him do what he does best, which is dissect the defenses. If they make any coverage mistakes, dice them, and if the handoff is there, he'll hand it off. I think Rojo will get more carries because of his size. So
yeah, same here.
I just think they want to control the clock more with a bigger man, and that's what you'll do. Rojo is bigger than. I know there's not much in this, and it's a bit of a, a semantical argument, but we know what we've got with Rojo. We're not really convinced of Vaughn. And my concern with Vaughn is, even if he was to win the job, how excited would I be? Fans, would I think that that's a league-winning move by owning Vaughn in redraft? I don't think so. Is it league-winning in Dynasty? Perhaps, depending on the makeup of the team you've got. But that's it. So
I think in a 4-point PPR league, I'd be a lot more interested in Vaughn in that, where he's going to catch the ball a lot. Yeah, Rojo's a bigger back, so I see him getting goal line carries. That makes sense to me in my head.
That is a very fair point, and I think you're right. I think that's the way to look at it. I think in standard, you probably in a half-point PPR, you probably want Rojo, and if you've got 4-point PPR and you're looking for a scat back that can come in and do a job occasionally when you've got bye weeks or even maybe an injury crisis, maybe Vaughn is your guy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is lazy, but I see sort of. I see Rojo as kind of the Sony Michel, and I see Keyshawn Vaughn as a kind of James White, if you want to equate them to the Patriots backs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a good
both
analogy.
Both will have a value. Probably 90 is about right. I'd probably prefer Vaughn in PPR and maybe Rojo in half point and standard. That'd be my sort of thinking at it. Obviously we might get more information as the season. I mean, if we're seeing like reports of them where Keyshawn Vaughn's getting all the first team reps, or he's the first one to get all the reps, then it makes it more interesting. And
there's another interesting thing here, because often when we look at a situation like this, and there are occasionally every year there's one or two teams that are very much like this, and you come down to that crystal clear point of when I look at the quarterback and I start thinking about the kind of plays that Tampa will have, that Tom Brady has still got in his locker that he can do very comfortably. I think, why would you be looking at Vaughn as the first target in an XYZ situation? You wouldn't. You'd look at Godwin, Evans, and Vaughn, if that's the best scenario for Vaughn, unless it's an absolute running back throw.
I mean, you've got Gronk, and you've got
exactly.
AJ Howard as well.
I mean, who do I want to exploit the seam? Vaughn, who's an unknown, or Gronk, who can go down the middle. I know what he's going to do for me. I just don't see it. I
can see him doing the James White one where he sneaks down the sideline where he's sort of a misdirection and he throws it the other way.
And there might be the odd game where he really does well with this. There might be the odd game where he really jumps off the page and people rush to the waivers if they've got small leagues or are desperately that they've got him. But it could leave you very vulnerable.
I just think Vaughn's okay between the tackles, but I don't see it as a strength. I think that's more Rojo's job. And that's your sort of first and second down, unless they're behind normally on the team. So that's why I see it 65% Rojo and 35% Vaughn. But
I'm honestly avoiding them, if I'm honest.
Well, no, so at the price, you're entitled to take a shot if you.
Yeah, if I'm taking a shot at any, it's going to be Rojo over Vaughn, and because they're so similarly priced, that's it. And it would be. I'm not going to say it wouldn't happen, but I'm just going to say I can think of quite a few other targets in that sort of area that I would much prefer ahead of them, or even going about them, that I much prefer.
Well, many thanks to Adam for the request. So
indeed, thank you,
that.
Adam.
Like you say, if you've got any other question, you want us to talk about backfields or certain players, or that you can't make your mind up and you just want us to analyse for you, then leave them down in the comments. So if you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.